Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having an amazing day as always. And today I got a video for you guys where I'm going to be going over what I think to be the best loadout for every operator. That's all the attackers, all the defenders. We have 34 attackers and 34 defenders in the game now. So I'm going to try to go as quick as I can so you guys can just get to the operator you want, get the loadout you want, and go back into your games. There'll be timestamps and chapters on the YouTube bar at the bottom so you guys can skip straight to whichever operator you're most interested in. But it might be worth watching the whole video so you get a better idea of what I recommend using on every operator. Okay, starting us off with Sledge. I recommend that you guys pick the L85 over the shotgun. I would actually recommend using the shotgun if you still had the SMG-11, but as we know, that has been taken away from Sledge for some reason because Sledge just gets nerfed whenever they feel like it. So, L85, I recommend the 1.5, Flash Hider, and Vertical Grip. Then on the pistol, I rock suppressors on all my pistols just for taking out cams and things like that quietly, but it's your personal preference. I don't think the pistols have that much recoil, so I like just having the suppressor on there because it doesn't drop your damage, and I could just be a little bit quieter when taking gadgets out and things like that. So yeah, I have rock suppressors on all my pistols pretty much. I think maybe bar like the Deagle and the Keratos, but yeah, that's like the one exception to that really. And I have frag grenades on Sledge because frag grenades are amazing. Pretty much any operator that has frag grenades, you're going to want to pick frag grenades on them. But yeah. L85, flash, 1.5, vertical, suppress pistol, frags. Okay, moving on to Thatcher. It's the same stuff on his L85, so I'm not going to go over that. But I use the AR-33 over the L85. It's just personal preference. I just enjoy the gun more. I think the fire rate is a good trade-off for the damage. Again, flash, 1.5, vertical grip, suppress pistol, and then I rock claymores on Thatcher. Quick side note, when choosing your secondary gadget, I know you have like your preferences and things like that, and that's what Siege is about really, is preference, what you're comfortable using. But I try to differentiate what I pick based on what my teammates have. More so on defense than attack, because I feel like the defender gadgets are actually better than the attacker gadgets. That's just my opinion. But for example, if we've got 3 sets of claymores and it's a 3-stack and we're all going the same area, maybe someone bring smokes, maybe someone bring a flashbang, something like that, so you guys have more options when you are faced with what's coming. So, you know, if you find an Aruni gate and none of you guys have got flashbangs, you're going to have to either tank it or use a drone. So that's not ideal. So yeah, but claymores on Thatcher. Okay, moving on to Ash. Ash, I actually use the G3 over the R4C just because of how good the 1.5 scope is. The R4C is a fantastic weapon though, so no hate if you use this. Either gun is completely fine. I'll go over the G36 first. 1.5 flash vertical. There's a trend here. This is what I use on a lot of the guns where this is available, but there are some differences, so I will get into those when we get to those weapons. On the R4C, flash hider, vertical grip, and Hollow B. Hollow B is my favorite one-time scope. Again, like I've been saying, Siege is about comfort. Whatever you like the most, that's what you should use. Whatever you're most comfortable using, use that. Don't just use this site because I'm telling you to. Don't use Holloway because the pros are telling you to. Just use what you like. Use what works best for you. But I will say the reason I like Hollow B is because I like the reticle and the housing on the site itself is quite small, so it doesn't take up too much of your screen. You can see quite a lot with Hollow B, and the site is still nice and clear. Okay, both pistols are suppressed, and I rock the M45 just because of the damage, and then claymores on Ash. Going over to Thermite, I'm not going over the shotgun because it's complete garbage, but I have a laser sight on all my shotguns, so I don't use a scope on the shotguns just because I don't think you really need to. That's just my personal preference. Thermite's rifle, 1.5, flash and vertical grip, suppress pistols again, and I rock stuns on Thermite. Okay, moving on to Twitch. Twitch's F2 is a bit of a doozy. I'm not great with this weapon, so I've been forcing myself to use the 1.5 scope because I'm trying to get better at managing the recoil with this gun. As you guys know, it's pretty hard anyway, and they end up taking the grip away, so it's now even harder. I recommend that you guys use a 1x if you're super new to this gun. I probably should still be using a 1x just to get my recoil control down, but I've decided to just throw myself in the deep end with the 1.5 and just force myself to use it until I get better with it. I have found, though, that the muzzle brake is actually quite nice for the F2, for the FMG9 Nokk's primary, and for Buck's primary. You guys know they're all pretty bad, or they get worse in a ranged gunfight, and I've actually found that muzzle brake has helped me to control that long-range recoil. So maybe give this a try if you're struggling with any of those weapons. But, you know, flash is a general rule is quite good on most of the primaries. But yeah, muzzle brake has been working for me, so maybe try that. Moving to the 417, this is a really, really good DMR. Scope, 1.5, you want muzzle brake and vertical grip. I don't know if these get angled grip. A lot of the DMRs don't have too much recoil, but me personally, I don't really use angled grip on anything because I don't think the ADS time is worth the extra recoil. I feel like it's better to just stick it out with the slower ADS time because it's really not that much slower, and just to have better recoil control. I use the P9 over the LFP just because I prefer having a bigger mag size. I'm not really a big fan of the revolvers. I tend to avoid them because I think they're just too inconsistent. And then I run Claymores on Twitch. I'm going to quickly glance over Monty. I prefer this pistol. I have lasers on all the shields just for that hip firing. And then I've been rocking smokes with Monty, but again, just try to differentiate, pick what your team needs. If Thatcher's banned, pick up the EMPs. I don't really see a use case for hard breach charges on Monty personally. I wish they were on someone else, but I like the smokes with Monty because it's nice going for those smoke plants with the shield because you can be protected. Okay, going on to Glaz. I've got the muzzle brake, hollow B, and vertical. You can use suppressor on Glaz. I don't really like it. I know there's a lot of people do because of all the smoke play and not being seen through the smoke, but I just like muzzle brake. Helps me control the gun a bit better because I tend to spam the shit out of this weapon. And when spamming, it gets a little crazy with the recoil sometimes, so I like having the muzzle brake for that. I rock the Bearing 9. I have extender barrel on this because I think the extra damage does help with this gun because it's got quite a small mag size and a really quick fire rate, so you will burn through your ammo. However, recoil does get kind of crazy, so you could use flash. I think that's a really good idea as well, but I like the extender barrel. And then I run smokes on Glaz as well. He does have frags, like I was saying. If you've got frags, pick them, but I don't think they're really suited for Glaz. Just my personal preference. I wish they were on someone else, maybe like Sens. It would actually make Sens a little better. I really think he needs some attention. But yeah, smokes on Glaz. Going on to Fuze, don't use the LMG, just save yourself time. Don't bother. Use the AK-12, best primary in the game. 1.5 flash, vertical grip. Suppressors on both pistols. I prefer the PMM. I think the GSH is pretty crap, to be honest with you. So yeah, PMM, one of the best pistols in the game, in my opinion. And I like the hard breaches for Fuze because you're going to be going above quite a lot, so you can get the hatches as well. So it's a nice complementary gadget for Fuze. Quickly going to glance over Blitz. You know, muzzle brake, laser on the pistol, just as I've been saying with the shields. I like lasers on all the pistols. I don't use lasers really on anything. But yeah, shotguns, the shield operators, and there's like a few other exceptions, but yeah, I tried to avoid lasers. And then I got breach charges on Blitz to help me with those rushes. IQ, I will go over all three of IQ's weapons because I think they're all fantastic. Flash and 1.5 on the AUG. The AUG has got quite a lot of recoil in my opinion, so I think it's completely fair if someone wants to drop down to a 1x. But a lot of the time, if you've got a 1.5 on the gun, try to use it because it's like a really, really good scope. So just try to control the recoil, try to learn the recoil, and use the 1.5. But no shame in using anything you guys are comfortable with, of course. I don't really know why this thing has these scopes, because this is a bit ridiculous on the AUG, personally. 5.52, which is my weapon of choice on IQ. I think it is her best gun by a landslide. 1.5 extended barrel for that damage. She has 52 damage with this gun. It will absolutely destroy anybody, and it doesn't really move a whole lot. So yeah, extended barrel I think is a really good choice on the 5.52. And then for the G8, flash and vertical grip, I've got a red dot C on this. I think I was messing around with that. Let's go ahead and change that back to hollow B. But yeah, G8's super easy, so if you guys are struggling with any of IQ's weapons, because they can be kind of difficult, use the G8. It's just a complete laser beam. Really kind of boring weapon, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, 5.52, super fun. I recommend this over her other primaries. And then I run breach charges with IQ, but claymores are fine. Buck, this is one of the exceptions to the whole laser rule because of how his skeleton key works. If you have a laser sight on the skeleton key, obviously it makes the spread tighter, so you can be more effective at making your holes, you know, vertical holes and horizontal holes. You can do it from further away. And if you're above on most vertical sights, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe you can go through one floor and through the floor beneath you with a laser sight on. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. You can save yourself an extra shot and go through both floors with one shot if you have the laser on. Yeah, 1.5 on Buck. I think Buck's gun isn't too hard, but yeah, at long range it gets a little shaky. So I've been really enjoying the muzzle brake on it, to be honest. But obviously you can use flash if you want to. I don't think composite is a very good idea, and these two definitely not for Buck's gun. But yeah, 1.5, you can use a 1 if that makes you more comfortable. I will go over this because I think this is a really good DMR. I think all the DMRs are pretty solid, so I will go over them all as well because I think they're great choices. But 1.5, muzzle brake, laser. Don't really need to say too much about the DMRs. I think they're all just solid, pretty straightforward, low recoil, high damage guns. I like the Gon 6 on Buck because this makes Buck a jack of all trades. You know, he's got the soft vertical play with his skeleton key. He's got Gon 6 to help him get the bulletproofs and things like that. Anything bulletproof, barbed wire, shields, castles, they can't stop Buck because he has the Gon 6. And he has hard breach charges to get the hatches or a wall if you're up to it. So yeah, Buck does everything. Super strong operator right now. With this loadout as well, the Gon 6 and the hard breach charges, you can do really anything you want. So yeah, Buck is feeling super good with that loadout, in my opinion. Blackbeard, not really much of a use case right now for Blackbeard, but I think his AR is complete garbage, so I prefer the SR25. 1.5, muzzle brake, laser, and vertical grip. I like laser on this DMR and Twitch's DMR because they've got pretty tight hipfire spreads, and I like to fuck around. I like to go for hipfire shots here and there, so that's why I like it. I don't recommend it, but I use it just because I enjoy going for stupid kills and hipfire kills, and the DMRs are surprisingly accurate at those hipfires. Then on the Mark 17, I've got muzzle brake, 1.5, and vertical grip. Again, this is a gun that gets quite bouncy at range, so muzzle brake is quite helpful for that. Deagle, this is the exception to my suppressor rule. I like muzzle brake on this because it gets a bit bouncy when you start rapid firing. And I'm rocking stun grenades currently on Blackbeard. Capitao, both of his guns are fantastic. They have pretty much identical stats, but the LMG obviously has a much bigger mag size, which is the reason I use it, because the guns are pretty much identical, so why not have a bigger mag size? Mag dump the shit out of people and swing them. 1.5 flash vertical on the Para, and the same goes for the M249. I like the Gon 6 on Capitao to help him get the bulletproofs and stuff, because he can burn a lot of stuff out, deny some space with the crossbow, and having the Gon 6 that helps him clear anything that he can't with the crossbow. And hard breach charges again, they're just super good. One of my favorite secondary gadgets. I pick them quite a lot. But again, claymores are a good idea. Hibana. 1.5 flash and vertical grip on Hibana's rifle. Again, sometimes this gun feels super weird to use. I've played Hibana for so long, and sometimes the recoil just escapes me. So sometimes I like to drop down to a 1 times. I see a lot of other people do this too, so I don't think I'm alone in that. But yeah, I do use the 1.5 a lot of the time on Hibana's gun. The Supernova is one of the only shotguns I'm actually going to go over because it's ridiculous. I like having a suppressor on this just to be quiet because it does 55 damage. I love using... Please give this shotgun a go, actually. If you've not used the Supernova since it got buffed a little while back, please give it another try. I'm not saying it's the best thing to use on Hibana or Amaru or Echo, whoever has it, but it's ridiculous amounts of fun, so please try it. Bearing 9, again, extended barrel hollow B. I actually have a laser on this for some reason. I'm not sure why. Let's go ahead and take that off. And then I rock flashes on Hibana because I don't really think the breach charges are, needed. Going on to Jackal. C70 is my weapon of choice with Jackal. 1.5 flash vertical grip. But the PDW is just as good. I like a compensator on the PDW. I like the 1 times. I don't really like the 1.5 scope on the PDW. I think it gets a little bouncy. And yeah, vertical grip on that one too. And then I rock the shotgun for the rotates and angles and vertical stuff with Jackal. He's got a quite niche usage for vertical play, so I like having the shotgun. Plus, I think the USP 40 is pretty garbage, so I tend to avoid it like the plague. And claymores to deny your flanks. Moving on to Ying. Ying's LMG, I like having a 1 times on it. It's got access to the 1.5 and the higher mag scopes. But with Ying, I tend to be quite aggressive and to get in there quite quickly, and especially rappelling through windows while people are blinded and in smoke and stuff. So I like having the 1-time scope, so I'm not too zoomed in, because I like rushing quite a lot with Ying. But the 1.5 is a great idea if you play her a little slower and don't just fly in there like an idiot. But yeah, flash and vertical on Ying's LMG. And then I use smoke grenades to help myself get in and just, be a bit more aggressive with the rush. Zofia, please don't use her LMG. I think it's complete garbage. Avoid that. The M76-2 is miles better. 1.5 flash and vertical grip on that guy. Suppressor on the pistol and claymores. Dokkaebi, her DMR, it's again one of these DMRs that just doesn't move. 1.5 muzzle brake, vertical grip. Does the job. This thing's awesome. Not really too much to go over on the SMG-12. It doesn't get barrels. I think if it got barrels, it would be a really, really strong secondary. So yeah, just vertical grip, hollow, everything like that. I don't actually like the Gon 6 on Dokkaebi, just because I like having the automatic secondary because I don't have an automatic primary. So yeah, that's the reason I don't take the Gon 6 on her. It's the same reason I don't take it on Glaz. And then I like flashes on Dokkaebi because you can impair people already with her gadget and then stunning them as well. You just double up on fucking people over. Dokkaebi is really, really good at that. Okay, Lion, I've already gone over the 417. I have an ACOG on this. Why do I have that? Get that out of there. And then for his rifle, 1.5 comp and vertical grip. I have comp on this because I've actually found more success using comp than I have over these two. But again, whatever you're comfortable with. Flash is the go-to on most weapons, but I've actually enjoyed using comp on this. So yeah, that's just me. I have gone 6 on Lion because I think it's a great choice, and then I rock the Claymore with Lion as well. Finka. Finka's grown to be, one of my favorite operators currently recently, and at first I was against using a 1.5 on her gun. I much preferred a 1x, but I've been experimenting with the 1.5, and I'm actually enjoying this a lot more. So give this a try, but no shame in dropping down to a 1x. This gun can be quite difficult sometimes. Got Flash Hider and Vertical Grip on this. Again, don't use the LMG. I have gone 6 on Finka, and then I use stun grenades. Maverick. Maverick's DMR, I have a laser on this as well. I use lasers on a lot of the DMRs just because it's quite fun. 1.5 muzzle brake and vertical grip on this. Then for Maverick's AR, I actually use a suppressor because this is what I use more on Maverick. I don't use the, what's it called, the AR-15? Yeah, I don't use the AR-15 at all because I don't like having 11 bullets in a mag, despite it doing 67 damage a shot. I don't like how small the mag size is for a primary. Not my cup of tea. But the M4, I like having a suppressor on this because his gun doesn't move a great deal, and Maverick's very quiet anyway, so having a suppressor I think just leads to some cheeky kills because people don't know where they're getting shot from, and then by the time they realize it's a Maverick hole, they're already dead because this gun does 44 damage a shot. And we have flashbangs on Maverick as well, but again, switch it up, play what your team needs, bring claymores if you need to, but I use stun grenades. Nomad, I recommend using the ARX over the AK. The AK is super fun, but the ARX is just one of the best ARs in the game right now, in my opinion. But again, use this if you want to, use this if you're comfortable with it, use it and you enjoy it. I like the AK-74 a lot. If they nerf the ARX, much more, I'll probably end up using the AK because I really enjoy it as a weapon. But the whole no grip doesn't really appeal to me. So 1.5 muzzle brake on that because it gets quite bouncy at range. And then on the ARX, we've got 1.5 flash and vertical grip. I don't use the stupid Han Solo pistol because I think it's just a bit ridiculous sometimes. And when spamming this thing like you want to do with pistols to secure kills, yeah, this thing's kind of crazy. So I prefer the PRB. And I have flashes on Nomad. Gridlock, both of her primaries are really solid. F90, 1.5 flash, vertical grip. But I prefer using the M249, that's what I recommend. Really good stats on a 60-round mag that reloads quickly because it's mag-fed and not belt-fed, so it's a really quick reload on an LMG, which is super nice. And to have 60 rounds in a mag and to reload at the same speed as ARs pretty much, why not? 1.5 flash vertical grip on this. I have the Gon 6 on Gridlock, but I know some people like using the Super Shorty, so use that if you want. I prefer the Gon 6. I'm a massive Gon 6 enjoyer, so I use it pretty much wherever it's, available. And then I have Impact EMPs on Gridlock. Nokk, I've been rocking the 1.5 and muzzle brake. Again, this gun can be quite difficult, so nothing wrong with dropping down to one of these 1-timers that you're comfortable with. There is a use case to have suppressor on Nokk because you want to be quiet with her, but I think the gun is way too difficult with a suppressor. Maybe that's just me, but I'm not a big fan of having suppressor on this gun at all. I think it gets way too difficult, especially in those ranged gunfights, which you can't always avoid. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of suppressor on this. I don't use it. And then I pick the 5.7 with the suppressor because I actually prefer it to the Deagle. Because at least I want some element of being quiet with Nokk. And then I have frag grenades on Nokk as well. Amaru, this is one of the only guns I actually have angled grip on because, you're getting in there so quickly, people are going to be looking at you. You're not going to get in, unheard or unseen with Amaru sometimes. So I like the angle grip just to give me that fighting chance because this character's so stupid. You want to try and secure as many kills as you can. She's one of those stupid ambush characters. So this is the only, pretty sure this is the only gun in the game I actually use an angled grip on. Maybe the UMP as well, but we'll get to that. So yeah, flash, 1.5, and the angled grip on that. Supernova, again, great choice. I think it's really, really fun weapon. I use the SMG-11 on Amaru. That's got hollow B, muzzle brake, and vertical grip. And then I have the hard breach charges on Amaru. Kali, can't really do much with her sniper, so I picked the SPS SMG-9. I have hollow and flash on that guy, and then claymores on Kali. Iana, gone over the ARX already, but this doesn't have the 1.5, so any hollow or any one-times that you enjoy. G36, gone over this already, but 1.5 flash and vertical grip. I have frags on Iana. Ace, gone over the AK-12 already, but just to refresh you, 1.5 flash vertical grip, and then I have claymores on Ace. Zero's SC, I like 1.5 flash and vertical grip. This is one of my favorite ARs. Really, really enjoy this. And then the MP7, I don't actually use a 1.5 on the MP7. I'm kind of ass with it, but if you want to use it, go ahead. I don't enjoy it. I'm kind of shit with it. So maybe hollow and flash for me. Maybe I should use the 1.5 a little more, try to get more comfortable with it. But when I play Zero, I play the AR, so I don't really ever use the 1.5 or the MP7 on Zero. I have gone 6s and hard breaches on Zero because, again, he's much like Buck in the sense that he can do really anything he wants. You know, the cams to watch your flanks and to gather intel. You've got Gon 6s to help you, and hard breach charges for that vertical play. Zero's great. I really, really like Zero. Okay, Flores, gone over the AR and the DMR again, but it was a while ago, so we'll go over it again. 1.5 flash vertical grip on the AR. I prefer using the AR over the DMR. DMR, laser, muzzle brake, 1.5, and vertical grip. Stun grenades on Flores. Moving to Osa, I prefer the rifle over the SMG. I have a 1.5 on that. Let's take that off. Again, don't use the SMG. I prefer Thermite's AR, though. So 1.5 flash and vertical grip. That, and I have smoke grenades on Osa. Sens, don't use this gun. It's terrible. It does 35 damage a shot. It's complete garbage. Hollow, flash, and vertical grip if you want to try it, though. I prefer the DMR. There's the loadout for that. Again, I use the Gon 6 and I use hard breaches on Sens to give him more of a fighting chance because he doesn't really do anything. But again, don't like Sens, don't play him, don't bother. Grim, I use the 5.52, 1.5 extended barrel and vertical grip, bailiff, and I've got claymores on, but I do actually quite like the hard breach charge. It's again the same thing with Zero and with Buck. Grim can do an awful lot now after this change, and that was only half of his change come through as well. So bailiff for some vertical play for the bees to get through and to make him some more creative angles, and hard breach charges to just give him some more options in terms of hatches or walls. Again, you can use the bees on the hatches and the walls and stuff, so yeah, don't sleep on Grim. I think Grim's a really good operator now. Very, very solid. This loadout makes him a lot of fun too. Brava. I use the Parrot, gone over that already, 1.5 flash, vertical grip, and then the same on the cameras that we shown on Buck earlier. I used the super shorty and smokes on Brava, but claymores are a good idea too. That's all of our attackers. Okay, moving on to the defense. Okay, defense. Let's start with Smoke. Recently, I've been using the FMG-9 and the SMG-11 on Smoke just because he lost his shield. I've been trying to play him a little more aggressive. It's been kind of fun, but M59 and the SMG-11, hollow, muzzle brake, and vertical grip, and I've been rocking the proxy alarms over the barbed wire, which is my personal preference. Mute, I've been using the MP5 a lot recently, so hollow and flash on that, but again, the M5, sorry, is a really good option for Mute. And then I have nitros on the Mute. Castle, I've been rocking with the UMP. I actually use a suppressor on this gun. It's just my personal preference, doesn't really move too much, and I don't think the extended barrel actually helps in terms of bullets to kills. I don't think it actually makes a kill any quicker is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I've been rocking the suppressor on that, 1.5 suppressor vertical grip, using the super shorty and proximity alarms with Castle. Pulse, same setup on the UMP, and I have nitros. I didn't even realize he has a shield now. Huh, okay, maybe I'll try that. Moving on to Dokk. The MP5, you want 1.5 flash and vertical grip, and on the P90, this is another gun I use the laser on because it's surprisingly accurate. and 1.5 and flash on that. I've been rocking the P90 a lot recently. I just enjoy the P90. It's a fun weapon to use. The MP5 is probably better, being realistic, but I've been rocking the P90 for a bit of fun. I like the Bailiff on Dokk. It's super helpful for site setup. And yeah, barbed wire on Dokk. Moving on to Rook. Same setup, but you can use the 2x on Rook's MP5, so keep that in mind. I prefer the 1.5. I'm not a fan of how the 2x looks. So yeah, but just keep that in mind. You do have access to the 2x on Rook, so maybe try that. And then I have impact on Rook. Kapkan, we've got the SMG, hollow, flash, vertical grip, and I use nitros on Kapkan. Moving on to Tachanka, the same applies. Use the VSN, because this LMG is complete dog shit, but I use the 1.5 on Tachanka. Bear in mind, you do have access to the 2x as well, but again, not a fan of how the 2x looks. So I massively prefer the 1.5. I use the bearing 9, same setup on Hibana, and I have the shield. Jager, I use the rifle on him, hollow, flash, vertical grip, and I've been rocking the bulletproof cams, but I do think the observation blockers can be quite fun for Jager, so try these out. I wish he had his barbed wire though. Rest in peace, barbed wire Jager. Bandit, MP7, sorry, not MP5. Hollow B and flash, but the MP7 does have super nice iron sights, so I am an iron sights enjoyer on the MP7. I keep saying MP5, MP7. But yeah, Hollow B is what I've been rocking recently. I'm enjoying using the Hollow B quite a lot as of late. Then I have nitros on Bandit. Moving on to Frost, I use the 9mm. 1.5 extended barrel and vertical grip. You can use the suppressor. You can use really anything you want on Frost gun. I've seen other people actually use nothing on Frost gun. Not sure why, but I see it here and there. But yeah, suppressor, extended barrel, wherever you want. This gun doesn't move, so it's really just down to personal preference. I like the extended barrel because the extra damage is kind of nice because this gun shoots super slow, so making your shots count is kind of important. Then I have the Spud Shotty for the rotates and things like that, and I've been using the deployable shield on Frost. Okay, moving on to Cav. That's her uniform, it's not her loadout. The M12, I don't recommend using this. I don't think it's a very good weapon, but I use hollow and suppressor on that. I much prefer the Spas 15. I think it's more reliable. And then use the pistol for range, and then I've been using impact on Cav. Echo, the MP5 SD, I've just got a vertical grip and the hollow on that. The Supernova is quite fun though, so give that a try. Same setup on the bearing 9, and I use the shield. Mira, her Vector, I use hollow B, comp, and vertical grip on that. I have the Spud Shotty and Nitrocells. Lesion's T5, I use the flash, hollow B, and vertical grip, and then impacts. Ella, don't play a lot of Ella, so I'm not the best inclined to give out advice for Ella. Don't really enjoy her. The Scorpion, hollow, flash, and vertical grip on that as well. And then I use barbed wire. Normally I use barbed wire. Don't know why shield is equipped. I think I was fucking around with the shotgun. But yeah, barbed wire normally on Ella. Vigil. Using the Boss G apparently. Normally use the K1A. We have hollow, suppressor, and vertical. I like suppressor on Vigil's gun. Doesn't move too much. I like being quiet, and with Vigil's new changes, with shooting actually not uncloaking him, I like having the suppressor. I think it works quite well. And then we have impact on Vigil. Maestro, I use the LMG, but the ACS-12 is ridiculously fun. There's like 3 operators in the game that have this, so this is a good option. I really think this is a fun shotgun, one of the best in the game. Use the 1.5 and vertical on that. Then on the Alder, hollow, flash, vertical, I use the Bailiff. And I've been using observation blockers recently with Maestro because there's a bottom floor on bank. And I've been fucking around using the observation blockers to try and hide the Maestro cams. That's been working quite well. But I like barbed wire normally with Maestro. But yeah, observation blockers I think are a good addition to his kit. Moving on to Alibi, we have the MX4 Storm. Really fun SMG. I think this could do with a little bit of a buff. I think it's kind of weak right now. But yeah, hollow B, flash, vertical grip. The shotgun is always an option. I use the Bailiff, and I've been using proximity alarms at Alibi. Moving on to Clash, I recommend having the SMG, hollow, and flash on that guy. I think the super shorty can be quite fun, but just keep in mind you're super limited to what you can do in a gunfight, and you can't always avoid a gunfight in this game. So I like having the SMG for when shit hits the fan. I've been using the shield a lot recently, trying to find a use case for having the deployable shield on Clash, but normally I would have barbed wire to slow people down, and slow them down even more with the shield, or have impacts if no one else is bringing them, so I can at least make the rotates for my team. Okay, Cade. I really like the Org, but I don't use it. I use Hollow, Muzzle, and Vertical Grip on the Org, however, but I use the TCSG-12 because this thing is awesome. Laser Sight for some hipfire stuff, Suppressor, 1.5, and Vertical Grip on that bad boy. This thing is awesome, super fun, so use this, give it a go. I really enjoy it. I use the Magnum because I don't like this thing at all. And we have Nitro Cells on Cade. The Mozzie, both of his guns are super good, but I think the Roni is slightly better because of that fire rate. This thing is awesome. Yeah, the Commando, though, Extended Barrel, Hollow B, and a Vertical Grip on that. And on the Roni, 1.5 Flash Vertical Grip. And then I use Nitros on Mozzie. Moving on to Warden. An absolute menace in current day Siege, because this thing with a 1.5 is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, 1.5 Flash Vertical Grip, and then I use the SMG-12. And I had Observation Blockers on for some reason, normally which is a Nitro Cell. Moving on to Goyo. I've been using the shotgun as of late because I've been playing a lot of Cade recently, and I've been really enjoying it on Cade, so was fucking around trying it with Goyo. Both guns work, though, and I have the 1.5 on Goyo's Vector. But yeah, I use the TCSG-12. It's a lot of fun. Give it a try if you haven't. I use proximity alarms because I like putting proximity alarms on the Goyo canisters themselves, because not only does it alert you that someone's on your canister, but for them to shoot it, they risk shooting the canister as well, and they have their back turned, so they're either going to kill themselves potentially, or you can react and get a free kill yourself. So yeah, I like the proximity alarms on Goyo. Okay, moving on to Wamai. I recommend the MP5 over the Org because the MP5 has the 1.5 times scope. That's kind of a rule of thumb right now with this game. If it has a 1.5 scope, use it. Okay, 1.5 and Flash on that guy. I have the Keratos, and I've been using the proxy alarms recently, but impacts are just as good. Oryx, we have the Extended Barrel on Oryx's T5, Hollow, and Vertical Grip. And then we use the Bailiff, and we have proximity alarms as well. Melusi and her MP5, same as Doc, but without the 1.5. I wish Melusi had this still. That was a really fun time when Melusi had that. So yeah, Hollow B, Flash, Vertical Grip, and then we have impacts on Melusi. Aruni, the Roni's super good, but I think the DMR is a better choice because this thing just doesn't move. A DMR in defense is super good. So yeah, I recommend using the DMR, 1.5, muzzle brake, and vertical grip. I don't like having a laser on Aruni though, because I hold a lot of angles, and I don't like holding angles with a laser because it just pokes out. And then we have barbed wire on Aruni, but you guys can use bulletproof if you want to. There's the whole trick of reinforcing the wall, punching it out, putting a bulletproof in, putting an Aruni get over it. Just protects your bulletproof. That's a really good strat. A lot of fun on certain sites, but I like barbed wire. Okay, moving on to Thunderbird. I have the Spear. I don't think you get the 1.5. No, you don't. So we have Hollow, Flash, and Vertical Grip. Then we have the Bearing 9, and I've been using barbed wire as of late with Thunderbird. Still trying to find out which I prefer, because she lost both of her impacts and nitro cells. So that's kind of a bummer. So yeah, using barbed wire right now, but haven't really tried bulletproof. So maybe we'll use bulletproof in future on Thunderbird. Thorn, oh Thorn, oh Thorn. Thorn just got the 1.5. So yeah, I've been using the 1.5 on Thorn. This thing is absolutely unfair. I don't know what they were cooking with this. But yeah, 1.5 flash vertical. I've been seeing a lot of people using 1.5 angled extended barrel. This just feels like it could go very, very wrong. So maybe I'll have to try this. But yeah, that's not what I recommend. This is what I recommend, but maybe we'll have to try the absolute Frankenstein Uzi K at some point. I have the C75. I'm not a big fan of this, but you know, it's automatic and I prefer it over the 1911. But the 1911 is a good pistol, so definitely use that if you don't like the whole not having a sight on this thing. That's the main reason I wouldn't use it, to be honest. But I've grown to love it, to be honest, so yeah, I rock out with that. And then we have deployable shield on Thorn, but I think pairing barbed with the Thorn traps is a good idea. Okay, Azami. On Azami, we have hollow, flash, and vertical on the 9x19. You can also use the ACS-12, super consistent shotgun, a load of fun. And we have impacts on Azami. Then Solus, we rock the P90 extended barrel and hollow B, and then we have the SMG-11 and impact grenades. And last but not least, the newest defender in the game, Fenrir, we rock out with the MP7, hollow flash. Like I said, Iron Sights is a lot of fun on the MP7, so that's always viable. We have the Bailiff, and I've been using the bulletproof camera recently, but barbed wire, again, pairing it with the Fenrir traps. It feels like Maluzi. It feels absolutely horrible to fight. You're slowed and you can't see. So, yeah, barbed wire with Fenrir is great, but I've been using the bulletproof camera as of late. Okay, guys, that was my recommended loadout for every operator inside of Rainbow Six Siege Operation Dread Factor. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I hope you guys found something you can use if you were struggling with an idea of what to use on your favorite operators. Or maybe you found something that will help you get better at an operator you're struggling with because you don't know what is the best loadout. Yeah, if you guys did enjoy this one, please consider leaving a like rating and a comment. That really helps the videos do well, and it helps me more than you guys know. And if you guys are new around here and you are enjoying the content you're seeing from me and you want to see some more, please consider subscribing and turning on post notifications so that you guys never miss a new upload. You guys can check out my live streams in the description below. There is a link to my link tree that contains everything: the Discord, the Twitter, the TikTok, and the link to my Kick streams where I stream 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. That is Kick, and on this YouTube channel, we multi-stream. So yeah, come check it out. It's a load of fun. I'm sure you guys will enjoy yourselves. And I will let you guys get on with the rest of your day. Goodbye.